So I was browsing the internet after dinner today when I stumbled upon this article, which is one of the funniest things I've seen recently. It's titled, Ubisoft Executive Says Assassin's Creed Shadows Devs Think It's the Worst Thing They've Ever Seen. This is a quote from Marc-Alexis Cote, Ubisoft's Vice President Executive of the entire Assassin's Creed franchise. He's been a part of Ubisoft for 19 years in a variety of roles ranging from engineering to creative direction and now leadership. In this video, we're going to dive into exactly what he said and what it means for the upcoming Assassin's Creed Shadows release. So without further ado, let's buckle up, grab some iced coffee, and dive into the video. The full quote comes from a keynote speech that Cote gave at XDS24, aka the External Development Summit, held in Vancouver back in September of this year. Let's take a look at what he said.
A game is shit until it's good. One of the things that I've noticed since the pandemic is that we have a lot of juniors in our teams, and I don't know if this is something that's your case as well, but the seniority has lowered globally, and probably half the team that's building an Assassin's Creed is building a game for the first time. So they don't know. So you have to explain to them that even though they're playing the game right now and they think it's the worst thing they've ever seen, it's going to be good. Okay, we're going to get there. And explain that I've been there as a leader. I remember my first time on Assassin's Creed, like it was July, and the game was shipping in October. And I was like, there's no way this thing ends up shipping. And 91 Metacritic. Oh, okay, this is good.
So there is a lot to unpack here, but I think to steelman his explanation here and get at the root of what he's trying to say is that during game development, the game will be in a pretty rough shape for most of the dev cycle until the game gets polished and comes together fully near the end of production. Cote explains that since a lot of the developers working on AC Shadows haven't been through a full development cycle before, and they see the rough shape the game is in currently, they don't have that confidence or perspective that the game is going to come together in the end. But you know what would definitely boost their confidence, as well as yours? Subscribing to Big Dan Gaming. You can help a brother out by clicking on that subscribe button right now, and in return, I'll hit you with the hottest RPG and gaming commentary content this side of the Mississippi. But anyhow, there is one aspect of this talk that I think is a major red flag. He said that roughly half of the team currently working on Assassin's Creed Shadows are junior developers, many of whom have never worked on a game before, much less an Assassin's Creed game.
And probably half the team that's building an Assassin's Creed is building a game for the first time.
That's kind of concerning. Assassin's Creed is Ubisoft's flagship franchise, so the fact that a lot of the people working on the upcoming entry are totally inexperienced is a huge red flag. Imagine you're going to the dentist to get a root canal, and right before the dude hits you with the Novocaine, he leans in and says, "This is my first time doing this." Are you going to feel more confident or less confident in what's about to happen? I know I'd be getting out of that chair and looking for another dentist because I don't want to be the guinea pig. Assassin's Creed Shadows is going to cost $70, and by the VP of the entire Assassin's Creed franchise's own words, half of the people working on the game have never made a game before. That's crazy. You would think with their biggest and most successful franchise, they would want to be all hands on deck with their most experienced developers and talent, but hey, maybe they laid all of those people off and replaced them with junior devs that have lower salaries so they can cut costs. Or maybe their more experienced devs just left Ubisoft for greener pastures elsewhere. Either way, this is pretty wild. There's also just something so funny about the way he worded this whole thing, describing AC Shadows as, quote-unquote, the worst thing I've ever seen, according to his team. And look at his face. Bro looks like he speed ran the 5 stages of grief and just went straight to acceptance. Like he doesn't give a fuck anymore. He knows he's on a sinking ship. Maybe he's planning to leave Ubisoft and start his own game studio like Casey Hudson did after leaving EA and BioWare. He also said that a game is shit until it's good, but lately Ubisoft's motto has just been, a game is shit, so we ship. Bro, at this point, I'm so excited to play Assassin's Creed Shadows. I need to see it for myself, because this game is either going to be totally mid, or it's going to be a complete dumpster fire. And either way, I think it's going to be hilarious and entertaining to follow. I think Star Wars Outlaws was a big wake-up call for Ubisoft. They can't just rest on their laurels or franchise name recognition alone and expect to sell units. According to Forbes, Outlaws barely sold 1 million copies, which I think is an indicator of how far both Ubisoft's brand and the Star Wars brand have fallen off in recent years. Previously, I thought that Star Wars Outlaws and Assassin's Creed Shadows would do well financially despite all the controversies, but now I'm not so sure. Gamers are voting with their wallets, and it turns out that these big AAA companies are not too big to fail after all. One big shift we've seen since the failure of Outlaws and the delay of Assassin's Creed Shadows is that Ubisoft has abandoned its anti-consumer pricing models. Previously, you could get early access and a season pass for the $90 or $130 editions of the game. Additionally, PC players could not buy the game on Steam at launch. But since then, Ubisoft has done away with the early access component, giving all players access to the game at the same time regardless of the edition. And the game will launch on Steam day one as well. They also refunded all pre-orders and made it so that future pre-orders will receive the first AC Shadows expansion for free. This proves if customers reject these kinds of business models en masse, then companies have to adapt to stay competitive and profitable. Assassin's Creed Shadows was originally set to release last Friday, but the game has been pushed to February 14th of next year, smack dab in the middle of one of the busiest release months of 2025. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 and Avowed both come out within 1 week of AC Shadows, and a couple weeks later, Monster Hunter Wilds is coming out as well, along with a new Yakuza game. Ubisoft has taken this extra development time to polish out some of the bugs, rewrote certain portions of Yasuke's story, and removed that hip-hop beat that used to play whenever he'd get into combat. They were really wild for that one.
Not while I have breath in my lungs and a blade in my hand.
I said kill him. I'll wash away his failure with your...
But is 3 extra months really enough time to sort out the problems with this game? Realistically, it's only going to be 2 months because of the holiday season, so lots of people will probably be taking time off. And even Ubisoft's CEO admitted that AC Shadows still has bugs during a recent investor call. I'm very curious to see what will transpire this February, assuming AC Shadows still ships on time. I'm definitely planning to play the game myself, and I'll most likely do a full review when it comes out. So what do you think is going to happen with Assassin's Creed Shadows? Let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, be sure to subscribe to Big Dan Gaming for more RPG and commentary videos. Big shout out to all the channel members for supporting my content. Until next time, this has been Big Dan. I should go.
The game is shit.
Not while I have breath in my lungs and a blade in my hand.
Even though they're playing the game right now and they think it's the worst thing they've ever seen, the game is shit.